Welcome, wrestling fans. You got the show here, Big Slam Wrestling. We're here to talk about the WWE Extreme Rules 2014. Going to start right off with the pre-show. We had the WLC match, something I did not expect to enjoy, but actually did, as it brought me back to the days of when I was a little kid with the midget matches. And, well, this was full little people all around, from the announcers to the ref. Christ, I even think the cameramen were little people. You had El Torito with Los Matadores in his corner going up against Hornswoggle and three-man band in their corner. Back and forth up through little tiny mini tables and step ladders and all kinds of crazy bumps and moves. And the big guys, they also got their licks in, and they also got it handed to them, both sides, whether it be 3MB or Los Matadores. You had your winner with this being El Torito. Next up, we had the triple threat match. Jack Swagger with Zeb Coulter with RVD going up against Cesaro with Paul Heyman in his corner in this, again, triple threat match. There was no doubt in my mind, because the man to be keeping an eye on right now is Antonio Cesaro. He is headed to the moon. He's going to have an Intercontinental U.S. title, or hopefully the talk they had before, bringing back the European belt. I think would be perfect as the WWE is making strides into the UK and Europe, seeing how TNA and the other organizations from little indies up to, as I say, Impact Wrestling, doing extremely well in Europe and the UK, and I think they want a piece of that pie, and that's something that Triple H and Stephanie have the vision for, and that Vince did not. With this, we had Cesaro again coming over with the win, and up next we had what I never expected to see again, which would be a villainous Russian heel in wrestling, but leave it to politics and the world going on today with Vladimir Putin. And all of a sudden you got a guy from NXT with the lovely Lana in his corner that was so that now has become a huge heel overnight, being Alexander Rusev. He's got a little tweaking to do for his character, and I would actually like to see her bring in some more East European Russians to make a complete stable with that. I think it could do a lot of damage and make a lot of money. Rusev was going up in a handicap match against R-Truth and Xavier Woods. He ran through those guys like shit through a goose, beating the snot out of both of them. It's a shame to me to see R-Truth, a former NWA World Champion, Tag Team Champion, Intercontinental U.S. Champion, a guy loyal to the WWE, that just cannot get put to that next step. In my opinion, he should have had the big gold belt at the least some years back, and never got that opportunity. That's a story for another time, and that's something that Vince has a problem with when it comes to some guys not having the complexion for the connection, if you know what I mean. Rusev again comes off with the win, and we go into what here was a return to greatness and the prestige of the Intercontinental title. Having the tournament that they had leading up to this, making it seem to be that important step to become a world champion, which is what that title and the U.S. title are for. They're to develop the guys and make them go from the low card to mid card to champ. That's when you had the likes of guys like Randy Savage, Roddy Piper, even a Ric Flair, Valentine, Snuka, guys that just had these belts, whether it was WWF, whether it was NWA, and it's time that the prestige is put back on it. And I got some bad news for you, as Wade Barrett beat Biggie Langston for the title, and I think you're going to see there this guy's got all the tools needed to be not just an Intercontinental champ, but obviously a world champion at one point. And I think we'll see that with him. They finally found his niche, and Barrett is on the move for greatness in the WWE. Next up, we had Evolution, Triple H, Batista, Randy Orton going up against Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins in the Shield. It's no secret that the Shield are on fire. They're one of the greatest stables in the business today. They are on fire. They are so popular that even though they wanted to break them up at one point, they realized they were making far too much money with them, and they're too popular being where they are, so it's not time yet. And this match went for over 30 minutes, and these guys beat the shit out of each other from pillar to post. Rollins did a sick suicide dive, taking out the whole Evolution. These guys just went old school all the way, and surprisingly enough, Evolution put over the Shield, giving them the victory, making the youngsters look like they were champions. Kudos to Triple H for doing this. Something that most people didn't think he would do. There was no sign of Ric Flair, so there was no shenanigans, which was expected. Not that it's not going to happen down the line. Next up, we had a match that took us back to the days of the early days of The Undertaker and the Funeral Parlor, Jake the Snake Roberts and the Ultimate Warrior. And it was Bray Wyatt, the Wyatt family, in a cage match against John Cena. And the cage was not there so much with the Wyatt family outside to keep them from getting in. It seemed for them to keep John Cena from getting out. And they did a fantastic job of doing that. Eventually, Cena wound up bringing the whole family into the cage, getting his shots in. It was back and forth, guys beating the hell out of each other. Several near attempts to the door, several near attempts going over the top. At one point, Cena got knocked out, and Wyatt picked him up and started dancing around the ring with him like a rag doll, like Alice Cooper and Cold Ethel back in the day. And just really creepy. And the lights went out. Cena is ready to go out the door, and it comes back on, and there's this little kid there. And he starts singing, "You got the whole world in your hands," but in this garbled, demonic voice. And John Cena stumbles back, scared to death, freaked out as he realizes that he's losing the kids. The little kids, the C Nation, are following Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family. And no matter what he's done, he's losing them. And with that, John Cena's losing it up here, and Wyatt's winning the game. He puts him out with his sister Abigail, makes his way out of the steps, both feet on the floor. Bray Wyatt is the winner of this match. Another surprise, and he and John Cena get put over. The crowd was 95% behind Bray Wyatt. The chants for Bray and Cena sucks outshone and blew away any pro Cena chants going on in that arena. And up next, we had a match which I didn't expect to be as well as it was, but you know what? We had two female wrestlers, not real divas, not models, but Paige and Tamina Snuka, who took it to the limit and had a match that was more like a Knockouts TNA style match than a Divas match. And Paige retained her title, but it was with not a lot of I expect her to be very sore today, bruised up, and I think this feud will continue for some time. And finally, we had Daniel Bryan going up against Kane. this match had everything from forklifts to flaming tables, uh, complete old school, hardcore, knock 'em out, smash mouth, slobber knocker. Uh, Kane got put through a flaming table. They got the fire put out on him. He wound up getting pinned. Daniel Bryan beats his former tag team partner, and the pay-per-view ends. And this show had something for everybody. I'm hearing some people complaining uh, because of the Bray Wyatt angle. Some not happy with this, some not happy for that. To me, this was a perfect demographic pay-per-view. You had everything for little kids to the hardcore fans to an Attitude Era almost, plus a solid female match. Um, and the Evolution Shield match just stole the show. Once again, those guys just taking it to the limit. And again, and with the older guys, Triple H and Batista and Orton, uh, hanging and banging with these guys in the ring. It was fantastic. I give this show, uh, I'll give it 4 stars out of 5. That's how good I think it was. And I think, again, we're going to see a change in direction, even more so as Triple H and Stephanie's regime is taking power and things are changing in the WWE. And you're going to see more tag teams, more prestige put back on the belts. And you had the youth being pushed in this card. Look at all the former Nexus and NXT wrestlers that were victorious in this. Wade Barrett, Daniel Bryan, Alexander Rusev, Cesaro. I mean, just, unbelievable that guys who are basically new to the roster, are winning matches in a major pay-per-view. And even, Big E lost the title, but still he was Intercontinental Champion. And it was not that long ago that he was an NXT guy. Times indeed are changing for the WWE. I know a lot of guys that listen to my program don't tend to follow WWE that much, but you know me, I watch wrestling, and if it's good, it's good, and I tell you about it. If it's bad, I'll let you know that it's not where I thought it needs to be. But I think this pay-per-view was everything it needed to be, except for the one problem that it was an Extreme Rules pay-per-view, and we didn't really have the Extreme Rules type of match. There was no color to it, not a lot of violence for violence sake as far as the extreme. But again, solid pay-per-view. Good step forward, leading up to the matches coming eventually. I forget the next pay-per-view, and then it'll be SummerSlam. But WWE and the WWE Network and the roster are on the move, and it's looking very positive for the Triple H Stephanie regime. That's all I got for tonight. I'll catch you guys down the road. Boom.